You're listening to 88.9 KPOV. And good morning, Bend, Oregon. It's 9 a.m. You're tuned in to One-on-One. Got a little Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, the original hip-hop that really had a message. But let's launch this thing off.
Rockin' One-on-One with Raider Mystic KPOV 88.9 FM.
To me, there are three things we all should do every day. If we do this every day of our life, you're going to have, what a wonderful, number one is laugh. You should laugh every day. Number two is think. You should spend some time in thought. And number three is you should have your emotions moved to tears. Could be happiness or joy. But think about it. If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day. You do that 7 days a week, you're going to have something special.
This is gonna be hotter than I thought. How you spelling that? Yeah, great. Whatever. Back to my story.
Ever since a young boy, I've been getting buckets. Ever since a young boy, I've been getting buckets. Pull it back, Kobe. Pull it back, Kobe. Swish. I don't even gotta look, I take the shot in here. Swish. I don't even touch the rim when I pull up, it's just swish. Backboard wet, only thing I know is swish. Pull it back, Kobe.
Right there. Yes. Good morning. Saturday morning, November 19th. Feeling good. Just had to drop the kid off at high school basketball practice. Hustle my way across town to make sure to get on the dials right at the right time. So here we are, doing the sports dad thing to come to the sports talk show. Got a couple immediate updates for us today. Had a couple big high school games last night. Summit versus Thurston. Summit came out victorious. Again, beating their team in double digits, 41-14. So Summit will go on to play in the 5A state championship. And in the other semifinal, we had Bend High and Wilsonville. Bend High Lava Bears, that's my alma mater. I'm a class of 94. I played with Ryan Longwell on the football team. I also played tennis at Bend High. I had a wicked reverse spin serve. That's some top secret stuff right there. But if you know, you know. And if you don't, you don't. Anyways, Bend High was going up against Wilsonville. Unfortunately, Bend High did lose 23-14. So we're going to have a Summit High School versus Wilsonville in the 5A state finals. The championship's going to be played next week, the day after Thanksgiving at 7 p.m. in Hillsboro. So congratulations, Summit. Congratulations, Bend, to a great season. I was doing some research, and the last time Bend was in a state final for football was 1940. So they were knocking on the door, about to break another record, about to get in. Almost did it. Didn't happen this year. Summit makes it. Congratulations, Summit. We'll follow that and see where we land next with that final. I want to drop into some information and some news about basketball. Portland Trailblazer basketball, to be specific. In case you don't know, the Portland Trailblazers right now are looking better than I can recall seeing them in a few decades. We have a handful of talent. Tons of talent. I'm going down the roster here. Of course, we got Damian Lillard, who came off not playing very much last year, but that's because he was recovering. He had to get a surgery, and he spent the whole time recovering. Nobody knew what his status was going to be, how he was going to do, and he's coming back strong. Got another kid named Anthony Simons, who is a rising star, and Damian talked about how he would be one of the next big stars in the NBA, and the kid is doing good. He has awesome verticality, great defense, and a smooth three-point shot that just keeps falling. So that's very exciting to see Damian Lillard side by side with Anthony Simons. And with the new addition of Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant adds a lot of defense, and he's hitting buckets. He's making threes. He's a monster dunker. He's playing defense. The other night against the Brooklyn Nets, against Kevin Durant, he's blocking major shots in major moments. I haven't seen that type of height and skill on the Blazers on defense for a while. That's what the Blazers have really been needing. And, of course, we got Nurkic, who's been around. I was actually at the game that Nurkic broke his leg in triple overtime. That was a scary moment, and that was the end of that season pretty much at that moment. I remember watching that all go down and being pretty bummed. So, if you don't know, I'm actually a huge Trailblazer fan. I watch almost every game. I was at the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers in the year 2000. I was at every home game. The Lakers went up 3-0. They had the first 3 games in Los Angeles. That was Kobe, Shaq, that whole crew. And then the next 3 games were at home in Portland. It was kind of a different setup than it is currently these days. And I went to every single home game, and we won with Rasheed Wallace, Steve Smith, Scottie Pippen, Damon Stoudemire, a whole cast of outlaws and fun guys to watch. I had a really good time that season catching a lot of those games. In fact, I was even on TNT with a big sign up front. You know, that is when the Trailblazers, they were getting into a little bit of trouble sometimes. I think Damon got caught a few times with a few things. But I was on TNT with a big sign that said, "Go Blazers, smoke 'em." So a lot of my friend saw me. That was a good moment in my Trailblazer history. But yeah, continuing down the roster here, Shaden Sharp. Shaden Sharp, 19-year-old, first-round draft pick, never played college. Duke signed him, or he was going to go to Duke. Never played a game, just went straight into the NBA. And let's talk about his airtime. Shaden Sharp has the highest vertical leap of anybody in NBA history. So Michael Jordan, he had a vertical leap of 48 inches. This 19-year-old kid on your Portland Trailblazers has a vertical leap of 49 inches, breaking the NBA all-time record. So if you're looking at a Trailblazer game and you see this kid, Shaden Sharp, come in the game, he's getting lots of playing time, he's sinking threes, and he is flying through the air. They're looking for a chance to give him monster alley-oops whenever they can. He's already had a handful of monster dunks, but this is just the beginning. If you're a Portland Trailblazer fan, you're excited because they're looking good. And just in case you didn't know, they are number 1 in the Western Conference right now. That is right. The Portland Trailblazers are number 1, numero uno. They're sitting on the top. Looking forward to the whole season and what unveils here. And, you know, we got lots of depth, too, below that with Keon Johnson, Nasir Little. Drew Eubanks is coming up as a big center, too. Trenton Watford, Jabari Walker. I mean, the bench is strong. They would be starters on other teams. So really excited about the Portland Trailblazers' future and what we're going to get out of them. So last week, I played the first part of an interview I did with Otis Sistrunk, the Super Bowl champion from the Oakland Raiders. And I had a chance to talk to him yesterday on the phone, let him know we played the interview, the first part of it. He was really excited to hear about it. He's really excited to come to Bend. Make sure if you're in Bend on the Christmas parade weekend and you run into him, he'll be here for like 3 full days. You know, you're bound to run into him at some point if you're out and about. And let him know you heard him on the radio. He's pretty excited about it and excited to come to Bend and show his respects. So I'm going to play the second part of our interview where we dive into more of his acting career. So a unique individual had the opportunity of being in the classic movie Car Wash. And then he also did some other stuff that kind of stuck out to me. He was in a Western, a classic Western from 1975 called Doc Hooker's Bunch, with some superstar Western actors in it also. And I'm going to let him tell you about it here. So here we go. We're going to roll into the second part of my interview with Raider legend and Super Bowl champion Otis Sistrunk. Roll the tape, Mystic. Then I also came across the Western you were in.
That was Hooker's Bunch. Hooker's Bunch was, it was very good. You know, it was made in Montana. And the best thing is when I went to Montana to do Hooker's Bunch, I got off the plane and I walked into the bar and I said, let me have a cognac and Coke. And the guy asked me, he said, you miss your plane? I said, no, I didn't miss my plane. I said, I'm here to take care of some business. By that time, they had sent a limousine over to pick me up. And I went up to, I can't remember the name of the town, but it was
like
it was
Bozeman
good.
Or
yeah, but it was I thought it was very good because the guy, I played a bartender, and the thing was that the guy that we was going over what we gonna do in the bar, and the guy's supposed to ride the horse into the bar, and I was supposed to say, "Get the devil out of here," or whatever I said.
Yeah.
And I hit him, and I knocked him out. And it was an accident, and I said, "Oh, please, don't sue me because I ain't got no money." And then God name was Jim, and they got him up, and he said, "It's too bad, Otis. That's for real. We can't use that." I said, "Well, I just want to apologize to him." And he said, "Well, I was supposed to hit him with a fifth of liquor, but the can that broke, and I hit it with my hand." And he said, "I see what the guys go through the NFL when they had to go against you, because you knocked the devil out of me." Yeah, we become real good friends.
So you actually knocked him out on accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. Yeah,
in the Western flick.
right. So it was when I was in the bar, and so I was supposed to shoot this shotgun, tell them to break up this fight and all this stuff. So it was real good. Wasn't a whole lot of lines, and it was late into the movie. But the thing about it is I had a shot to get me seen. And so a lot of folks liked it because a lot of people, you got to look for this movie because I never seen it on TV, but it was on internet.
Yeah. And, probably, as far as being a black man in these old Westerns, I didn't see that as much.
No, and plus that was made in Montana.
You're like a pioneer, right? You're out there in Montana shooting Westerns, and then you're coming back from doing a classic car wash. So I saw another movie that we spoke the other day, and from what I understand, you haven't seen it yet.
No.
It's called The Florida Connection.
Yeah, it was kind of funny that it was a lawyer that lived in Virginia Beach. And I just got this phone call one day and asked me, "So would you like to play in this movie, down in Florida?" I said, "Well, And the first thing I asked was, "How much money is it paying?" And he said, "Well, it's a low budget movie, Otis. And thing about it is that you'll still be taken care of." And the best thing happened, I told you the other day, is Dan Marino was in this movie, and his wife was in there. And so we had fun. So it was made in Florida, down in Allegheny Alley, So it was very, very good. But I'd never seen it, and I never heard no more about it until you brought it up to me the other day.
Yeah, and didn't you say like maybe the budget ran out or something?
Yeah, they ran out of money, and then they stopped the movie, and But I don't know whatever happened. I guess they ran out of money because right at the end when I was on the boat, I've been supposed to been like a drug dealer or something. Yeah. And then the funniest thing about that movie was I was on the boat and I was just laying on my stomach, and then it was real good. I really enjoyed it. There's some good folks who was in there. But I don't know what happened with, I don't know if they ever finished it or not.
Yeah, well, they did, and we got a copy for you when you come to Bend. And yeah, so that was the other actors was Dan Pastorini and I guess his wife, June Wilkinson.
Yeah. I didn't have an agent. I had a lawyer. So everybody that, say, "Well, this guy's a nice guy. He backed it up. You make some money." And I guess that's how come they put you in the movie. They give you a small line and you just go from there, And it worked out for me because I wanted to see it and I wanted to find somebody that had. Every time I try to find the movie, I can never find it. But Dan and his wife, Pastorina and his wife, so it made it good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I watched the entire movie last night, and I liked it. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
And speaking of you shooting a shotgun, you have a great shotgun scene at the very end where you're laying down on the boat and you're just launching rounds at the federal agents that are trying to catch you.
Right. You bring it back to me. You're talking 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, maybe even 40.
Could be 40.
Yeah, but it's awesome. Side note with Dan Pastorini. So he was actually a Raider quarterback for a minute.
Yeah.
He was the one that the Raiders got with a trade with Kenny Stabler. They traded Ken to the Oilers, and Dan came to the Raiders. He played, I think, 4 games, broke his leg. And then Jim Plunkett came in in 1980, and we won that Super Bowl also.
Right.
So one other thing I wanted to touch on was you also were a pro wrestler.
That wasn't long neither.
And it goes down in history that you actually were a tag team champion.
That's right.
In the original NWA, National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, that was very nice. I met the owner, and that was another time. He said we could probably use Otis to make some money, and Otis might turn out to be a good wrestler, because now you do have a lot of guys that play football. They get out of football, they become a wrestler. But, I was the only one in there at the time, and it was a lot of fun.
And again, that was the original movement of what the whole wrestling scene still is.
Right.
For that kind of wrestling.
Yeah.
So I got a question. I mean, these guys are we acting? Are we rehearsing lines backstage before the TV cameras roll?
Yeah, well, no. You work out through the week, and then you work it out what you're gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just roll with it.
Roll with it. You're talking about 30. Some of them is 15 minutes, some 30 minutes, some 45, some an hour. It's all depending on who you're wrestling. Is the main event, it's totally different.
And then for like talking on television, the pre-games when you're face to face at the podium.
Michael Hayes was the other guy that I was a tag team champion with.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Hayes. I was looking information on him, and it looks like, according to Wikipedia, he's still the vice president.
Oh, he's something with him. I don't know. I met him in a bar, and then I met the owner, and then they said, well, I think you can work out. So I went down and I trained for it. I trained 6 weeks for it, and then I become a wrestler.
Then I also found footage of you in a cage fight doing MMA.
Yeah, we did a cage fight. I think it was in Atlanta.
It said it was the posted video was from 2010. Is that the correct year?
That could be. I don't know.
I mean, that's just like, 12 years ago.
No, I went to it. It was longer than that.
Okay.
And, it happened right after I got out of football.
Okay. So it's a little bit older.
Yeah.
Okay, because we could set up a cage fight here too.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, I think what was happening, they swear to say probably 2010 where they could still sell it. I don't know if they're selling it now or what, but Michael Hayes was a good guy. We wrestled against Jimmy Snooker.
Uh-huh.
And I can't think of the other guy's name. Big guy. So we had fun.
I can also give you a copy of that if you want. I don't know if you have it.
Oh, yeah. I would like it. Yeah.
But I'm going to give you a copy of everything.
I like to have some of that, because what you got, my grandkids have never seen it. And I probably like to let them see it.
So I'm going to make a highlight reel.
Okay, that'll be good.
Of all this cool stuff. And give it to you so you have it.
All right, appreciate it.
Let's touch on, there's an awesome beer commercial where you pick up a pool table.
Miller Lite. That's Miller Lite. I was the Ray guy was in that.
I heard some people say maybe that wasn't a real pool table.
Yes, it was a real pool table. I'll tell you the story on that is we was filming this beer commercial in New York. And the director said, well, you know what? We're going to break here in about 10 minutes. And Otis said, before you go to lunch, I want you to tell me if you can pick this pool table up or not. So it was one of the, not the regular size pool table, but it was a regular pool table that you play at bars. And I picked the pool table up. And a lot of guys, people started saying my line was, I think it was a guy they had in there, but Ray Guy was in that commercial also. And so the thing was, I picked up the pool table up, and the guy said, "You cheated." I said, "So?" So a lot of folks said, "What was you talking about? Were you doing this for real?" And they had, this honest truth, they had called a company in from Baltimore to come in and rig this pool table and make it look like I picked it up. But it was for real. I picked it up for real.
Yeah. Big dude. Yeah, I saw that commercial and I was like, man, this dude Otis, he's cool.
Well, you know what? I thank the good Lord for doing a lot of stuff and you know, you never been to college, but the thing about it is, thank the good Lord, everything worked out for me, and it's just that that's why I try to live a good life.
Now, so just to kind of go over some history here in Bend, the Raider Club in Bend, Oregon Raider Nation, has been together for about a decade. We're a real positive club. We do a lot of good things in the community. We serve dinner at the homeless shelters here. We have 5 adopted roads that we clean constantly.
Yeah.
We've helped out with Ronald McDonald House doing different events for them. We have an adopted park we clean and pick the weeds from and stuff like that. And there's a little plaque there that says Raider Nation. So we've been a real positive, good club in the community, and people know us pretty well. And one of the biggest things that everybody knows us for is the Christmas parade, because we always turn out big in the Christmas parade. The first couple of years, we just marched and just rolled. And the first year, we were like 50 deep. The second year, we were like 100. And then we decided to upgrade and make a float. So then we made a float, and we had live music. And then we decided, we're like, hey, we need to get our boys, some Raiders up here. So then the first year we had Jerry Robinson joined us. And then the next year we had Jeff Barnes. And then the following year we had Rod Martin. And then we had Kenny King. And last year it was Mike Ciani. And so for the 6th straight year, we are really proud and honored to have a Raider joining us. And this year it's you, Otis Sistrunk. And we are extremely excited to have you join us and be on that Christmas float with us and spreading the good cheer to our community. And when we roll and we turn around and go through our downtown that's packed full of people, it's all Raider flags. We got the live music on the float. And we have a lot of different Raider fans that know about us. Up in the Northwest, in the Seattle clubs, the Portland clubs, that are going to come down and be with us and join us for that weekend. So it's going to be a real good time, and we're really honored to have you and appreciate you coming out.
Well, it's an honor that you asked me to be there. This thing is that I like to say, go Raiders. And the thing about it is that, when I came down there, it was Oakland Raiders.
Yes, sir.
And the thing is that...
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to One-on-One today. I'm going to have to cut this interview a little short, but we'll be back next week with another segment. I still have a little left with Otis.
That means
Stay positive.
neighbors
Have a good
helping
one out
neighbors, and,
there.
it's not all-
88.9 KPOV, Bend, Oregon.